Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. And we are here. It is me, OLED Ed Fries. It is the natural Astrid Bizarro. And this week, we're staying in the Northeast, Astrid, because, well, to be honest, the Northeast keeps putting out really good, content that we can actually find and watch and really enjoy. And two, we're in Philadelphia. We're in the 2300 arena. Well, physically, we're not physically in the arena, but the show took place. The show took place in the in the historic 2300 arena in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. This is indeed Dean 3. And Ashton and I both had the same question, so I went ahead and looked this up. Hello, Bobby Munson. As to why do they call it Dean? This is in response to Dean Rasmussen, who was the person behind the guiding light, behind Death Valley Driver Video Review. It was a tape trading organization, it seems, and it was a blog and a message board for so many wrestling fans in the early IWC, including one Tony Khan. Tony Khan was a big member of this community. And so after the passing of Dean, Action did a show, the original Dean show. Since then, Ring of Honor and Tony Khan, since he's purchased it, have been coming in and helping out with putting on these shows because, again, Tony Khan was a big fan of Dean's. He enjoyed that what they did, and so he wants to help do that. And you know what? That's one of the great things about having a fan like Tony Khan as a person who does these things is it lets him do things like this that give us an opportunity to see so many interesting talents. And boy, I have to use the word interesting on this one because we watched an Action Pro Wrestling show. We really enjoyed it. And by the way, Action Wrestling up here, action-wrestling.com, Wrestle Action 1 on Twitter. Find them where they are, follow them. They got a big show coming up this Friday. We'll talk a little bit about that because I'm going to promote that show because it's something I'm going to be watching this weekend. I'm definitely going to be watching it because I have some friends who are going to the show. So I'm very excited to watch that. There's some people we know on that show. But anyways, that's what this show is all about. That's why it's called Dean 3. This is the third of the tribute shows to Dean. And oh boy, this was a show. Hello, Ophelia. The Empress of our local establishment has arrived. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that, after the show, if you didn't already, go watch Peggy and Andre as they recap the entire season 2 of Peacemaker on Marvel Talk Goes DC. They did it earlier today before our show. They were our opening act. We greatly appreciate them for that. So please, if you haven't, go onto the YouTube channel and give it a watch under the live tab so you can go ahead and see that. And we'll talk more about Marvel Talk at the end of the show because we got some fun stuff in the works there that Andre talked about that I want to talk about as well. All right. So we had an opening match of a Maestro v Maestro match, which included Blue Panther, El Pantera, and Varus taking on Dr. Cerebro, Hechicero, and I'm gonna butcher this one, Xelhua.
It's okay, I butcher it too.
I believe it's Xelhua. Xelhua.
I keep trying to listen back to it because it sounded so odd to me. I had never heard a name like that before.
If my Duolingo did me right, I believe that the XE makes a U sound, right? Xelhua. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Not only was this a Maestro versus Maestro match, not only was this a Lucha Rules match where it comes to the tag team rules, it was also a submission match. However, it wasn't just a submission match. It was a best 2 out of 3 falls submission match. Which means one team had to make somebody other team submit twice to win this match. Astrid, what the fuck did we watch?
I would say a lot of the people that watch us often know I rarely curse, but I'll give you one that will describe this whole match. It was a clusterfuck because there's nothing else to it. You can clip that if you want. It doesn't happen often. But I was watching the match, and then I waited for Ed to watch it to tell me that he was watching it. And once I got confirmation that he did, because I didn't want to spoil it for him, I sent him a rant via Discord, an audio message. It's like I just thought I can't do this by text. It's not gonna sound the same. And I sent him a long audio message. Waited to see if he would agree with me. I'm sure he would. And I was so surprised that we agreed on something like this because my biggest thing with this match is I don't know if it was some miscommunication. I don't know if the competitors were not told what type of match it was. There you go, Millie, clip it. I don't know what happened here, but something was missing here because for me, I would understand if it was people that are just like rookies and they're just starting out in the industry. I would understand that part. And we're used to watching people that are new to the industry. So it's like, to me, that would have made sense. But to watch people that have been in the industry for years now, they're legends. Most of these guys are in their 40s, maybe 50s at this point. There was a lot of mess in this match when it first started. And the fact that the match was 20 something minutes and it felt like it was twice as long because the mess ups that kept happening, it was a pain to watch to begin with. It really was. And I hate to say that because first it's a 2 out of 3, but then you think about it's not a 2 out of 3 falls, it's 2 out of 3 submission. And a lot of the beginning, the veterans were struggling, trying to submit to one another, try to do the pinfall, and then Aubrey would be like, no submission. I'm like, does she? I'm like, I thought she knew Spanish, but I wasn't sure at this point.
They claimed at the beginning of this show that that's the reason why she was the referee here because she speaks Spanish.
And I don't get it. I don't know if they were not told in the back that this was the match before they came out, or just it wasn't translated correctly. I don't know what was the gap in here, because at first they were not understanding about the submissions part. But once she went like this of no, I can't count it, that's when they realized what was happening. But it took a while. It took like at least halfway through the match for them to really understand that it was a submission match. And it was a 2 out of 3. And it was so confusing for them. I couldn't concentrate on this match with the hot mess that had happened. And I said at that whole rant, I was like, I don't know what happened here, but there's something that was missing here. I just can't pinpoint what it was. And the fact that he just said, oh my God, I agree with all of that. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm not drinking Haterade, it sounds like. You're muted, sir.
Sorry, I was giving you the courtesy of allowing you to just go ahead and rant. Just so we're clear, Varus is 56. Depending on which version of Blue Panther this was, it's most likely the older of them. He's 65. So, no, they are not by any means young men, shall we say. The other side had some young men. They had Hechicero. I really enjoyed watching Hechicero here. He was my entire reason for enjoying this match because I've heard of all the great things he's doing in AEW. I've heard about how good he is in the Ring of Honor stuff that they have him doing. They were talking about how just recently he took on the world champion Bandito in a match that lit the internet on fire, apparently, before this match. And again, this was taped during the residency in the 2300. That was what? Death Before Dishonor and
I think so.
What's the other one that they did there? It was Death Before Dishonor and there was another pay-per-view. It was an AEW show. It was the big one. I forget which one. Was it Full Gear? Was it Full Gear or was Full Gear in November? Hello, Luis. Thank you for joining us.
I'm trying to remember. Was it All In or All Out that was recent or no?
It might have been. It was the whatever group of shows they did during that week. But yeah, no. I like this match. I wish we had half of it. I wish it was a one fall submission match. That is more than enough for me. The one thing I'll say about this is that I love the innovative, and it's amazing to say innovative with so many older wrestlers in this match. The innovative submissions that I got to see in this match. Because God Almighty, were there some things I've never seen. Like the way they tied each other up to get these submissions. Like one of them, like he like wrapped every limb of this person up and like just yanked. And I'm like, ow, good God, that
he
hurt
basically
like
just
hell.
pushed it, like not only his arms but his legs back too. I was like, I don't know how he did that at that point.
Yeah. I'm going to start referring to my notes. I thought that one of the most interesting submissions, which one that didn't get a pinfall, a fall in the match, was when Blue Panther put his foot on the ankle that was wrapped in the knee, and then just flipped and pulled, and I'm like, like that's a version of a figure four.
Yeah, it almost reminded me a little bit of the surfboard that Brian does too, in a way.
Yeah, yep, I agree. It was very surfboard-like. It was just so odd and interesting, but I loved bits and pieces of this match. It was too long, it was too many submissions, and it was too many guys who forgot or just got used to the idea of trying to pin each other. Other than that, it was a fantastic... Like, the things they did in the match were great, but everybody kept forgetting what they were supposed to be doing, and that kind of hurt the match. It also kind of hurt the match. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit shorter. This is the longest match on the card, if I remember correctly, which is a bit sad considering some of the matches we're about to talk about. How many CPA jackets would you give this match, Astrid? Remember, that's how we're rating things now. We're gonna do every match now with CPA shirts. How many CPA shirts does this
out of 5?
Out of 5 CPA shirts, yeah.
Maybe a 2.
Okay. I would say I'd give it about 2.5. I think I could go 2.5. I think it's just 2.5 CPA shirts. It was fine. It was fine for what it was, but I wish there was a little bit less of it. We're then going to move on to the match that made me want to watch this show. This was the match when I saw the match card, and I was like, Ashford, if we get a chance, we really want to cover this show. I want this. Nicole Matthews, Canadian professional wrestler extraordinaire, the ninja Nicole Matthews, taking on Billie Starkz. I'm a big Billie Starkz fan. I really am. The few times that I've gotten to watch Ring of Honor shows, she's always been a standout to me. I don't know how somebody who's been as pushed as Billie Starkz is, in my mind, still feels like a failure by Ring of Honors to not have her be the Ring of Honor World Champion. Like, I love Athena. I love we all know that I used to claim that Mandy was the forever champion. And I still do in my heart. # forever champion Mandy Rose. However, we can't not talk about the historic reign of Athena in Ring of Honor right now. It is sensational. But I think that there have been multiple times, and Astrid, we've reviewed Ring of Honor shows, the two of us, where we come out of the show going, this was the show they were supposed to put the title on Billie. Why didn't they put the fucking title on Billie?
Yeah, and I don't think it was the first. I think they've faced each other maybe twice at this point, and the first time I wanted her to win, and her not winning, I kept thinking, okay, this is her, like, she's gonna have that redemption story to like redeem herself in the second match, and the second match happens and it still doesn't happen. So at this point I just went, when is it gonna happen?
Yeah. That being said, this match was really fast, and I was really upset about that. I loved what they did here. I thought Nicole being Billie Starkz is by no means a rookie. We all know the story of Billie Starkz and how many years she seemingly has in at age 20, 21 years old. She's the Javon Evans of female wrestlers right now. She's a veteran who feels like she's been wrestling for 10 years, even though she's only 20 years old. And she's fantastic. She's one of the best female wrestlers in the world today. And she showed it here. But I like how they made Nicole feel like the biggest deal in the world taking on this Ring of Honor star. They made Nicole feel every bit the grizzled veteran that she belonged being in this. With the Billie slapping her and being the young kid turning around and being like, ha ha, I slapped you, you fell down. And Nicole's just standing behind her waiting for her to turn around. Nicole gets all the good offense in this match. Billie does fantastic selling here. Billie does fantastic job. And that finish that Billie has, I know it's not the same, and I know it's different, but I can't help not watching it and think about the One-Winged Angel. Because every time I see Billie do this move, I think of Kenny Omega. Because they're sat on her shoulders, she pulls their head down, and she just flips and slams them. It's essentially the same thing as a One-Winged Angel, except she uses both legs. Kenny makes sure he has the one. She uses both. I love Billie. She was the right choice to win here. Ring of Honor needed that big win on this show. But Nicole Matthews had a fantastic outing. I just wanted 5 more minutes of this. By the way, hearing me say I wanted 5 more minutes of this is going to become a running theme whenever we have Ring of Honor talent in the match.
Yeah, and I feel like this was one of those, I was enjoying the chemistry and the pacing they had. And I don't want to say it ended out of nowhere because it wasn't like that. But I feel like if they would have let them have more time, I would have enjoyed it even more. Because I enjoyed it as it was, but I feel like they could have done even more because they were doing great as it was together. They had a really good chemistry. I love how they pull, like you said, that type of role of like Billie's almost like the rookie compared to Nicole and showing off of like, I can do this, and Nicole's like, yeah, you can do it, but I can do it better than you because I'm a veteran here. Don't try me. And I love seeing her, like her expertise in the match of like how she like outsmarts Billie at the end. Really well done. But yeah, it's like in the end, it just like I kept thinking, as much as I want Nicole to win it to like show off that veteran status here above Billie, like Billie's the one that's from Ring of Honor, so she's gonna get that win in the end because of the company being the one hosting the show in itself. But I feel like they have really good chemistry here, both of them. I enjoyed it. I just wanted more from it, to be honest. Especially, I think this is the only women's match on the whole card, so it's like you could have given it a little bit more time if this was going to be the only one as well. So I think that's the only. I don't want to call it downfall, but that's the only like thing that I definitely would have wanted more from this match.
6 minutes 45 seconds for this match. It needed more time. It needed more time. It was one of 3 matches that were under 10 minutes, and it was indeed the match that absolutely needed more time. It is indeed National Dessert Day, so that's always fun. Hello, Zach. And of course, Melball's in the chat. Hello, Miss Melball. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. By the way, I don't like the new thing with YouTube, that it has the ats in front of everybody in the chat now. I don't like it. I need it gone. I need it rid of.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed it today when I was in a YouTube chat, and all of the comments come up with that. We had an LFI promo, and it made me ask 2 questions. 1, why is Sammy Guevara on my TV screen? That's a question I always ask anytime Sammy Guevara is on my TV screen. And then 2, how do we make Roosh look like such a douchey? Like, why do I feel like Roosh doesn't like... Roosh is a former Ring of Honor world champion. When Roosh came into Ring of Honor, he was the biggest thing to come to Ring of Honor in a while, too. Like, it was a big deal when he left Mexico to come work for Ring of Honor full time. And I feel like this group is just... We have Dralistico, who I like, but I always feel like his name should be Dragalistico because I feel like there's a missing G in that name.
Yeah,
that's not there.
Mm-hmm.
We have Mercedes' boyfriend, the Beast Mortos, better known as Black Tarus. We have him there, which is great. He's lovely. I love him. Can't fault him in any way. And then we have Roosh and Guevara, and I'm just like I know Guevara fits with the whole Spanish group. And I know he fits with like, I'm a douchebag like the rest of them, with the exception of our wonderful bull man, Mr. Mortos. But like, I just don't like it. I just don't like LFI in any way, shape, or form.
To me, if I could take out Beast Mortals and Dralistico from here, I would have been fine. I feel like I would put them in a group together, but not with the other two.
I would keep Roosh and I would keep Mortos together. I think those two, because you can utilize Roosh's douchebaggery to a very high degree. He's, in my mind, he's like a Spanish MJF. He's a douchebag you want to hate, but at the end of the day, you kind of love him.
I mean, it's also that with Sammy and Rouge, I don't like them, and it's not because they're heels. It's just stuff outside of it, that I don't like, and it's not the show for that anyway. So it's like, if that's why I say, if I could do Beast Mortals because I enjoyed him as Black Taurus in TNA, if I could put him in Dralistico because I enjoy how he wrestles too, if I could take them out of that group, I would be happy, because I don't like Sammy's voice. It's annoying as it is. I don't want to hear it. And I also don't like him as it is. So I don't want to see him on my TV screen. And
you don't like the Spanish God?
Hell no, I don't. And then the irony is, like, in this match, what I didn't like about it in the match too is, like, I feel like he gets the highlight, but he doesn't do much compared to everybody else. No.
He does nothing in that match. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who I wish I could take out of groups, Wheeler Yuta shows up next on my TV screen. God, I remember the early days of Wheeler Yuta, like bloody Wheeler Yuta taking on Moxley. Like, I remember those days, and I'm like, oh, remember how much promise and greatness there was in Wheeler Yuta at that time, when they put him with Cesaro, when they put him with the Blackpool Combat Club. And there's so much promise. And now it's like the Death Riders, and I'm just like, oh, it's Wheeler Yuta. He's so good. And in this match, he reminds me how good he really is as he takes on Matt Mako. The only time I'd seen Matt Mako before this is, if I remember correctly, Matt Mako is a pretty regular performer for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, isn't he? Ash was like, no, I'm going to fact check this. I'm almost certain Matt Mako's a pretty regular guy on Bloodsport. If not, then he felt like that kind of guy. I love this match from beginning to end. There's the only thing that's bad about this match is Marina Shafir is at ringside. Not because there's anything wrong with Marina Shafir, but like, I just wanted to watch the two of these guys go at it with no interference, with no issues, with no nothing. And she involves herself early, and later on, Matt's got Marina on the outside, and Marina tries to run him off, and he runs the entire way around the ring to like drop kick Wheeler Yuta out of a chair that he's sitting in ringside that Matt Mako put him in. Like, it's a phenomenal spot. I love this match from beginning to end. Yuta cheats to win, which is fine. I don't mind Wheeler Yuta cheating because, again, that makes sense. He's a bad guy. I just wish we didn't have to have Marina helping him cheat. I love heels cheating to win, especially where on a show like this. Matt Mako surprised me to no end here. I loved everything about him. He's one that I'm going to keep my eyes on as somebody to watch. He's my one to watch on this show. You know how I like to do my ones to watch, where I got to keep an eye on this guy throughout most of his shows. Because the only real reason, other than the fact that I really liked his match, is because I know pretty much everybody else who I liked on this card. And I'll use that term real liberally. The ones I liked, I really liked on this card, because the ones I didn't, I've been asked to make sure I didn't have too much haterade, so I filled lots of regular water today. Asher, tell me what you think. And Bobby has fact checked. Mako does indeed compete in Bloodsport.
So I sent you the link.
Oh, okay.
To me, though, I like the match, but I feel like I enjoyed it more the moment that Matt took control of the match. Because at first it felt slow with Wheeler being there and then Marina getting involved. Once Matt really picked up that momentum, I feel that's when I enjoyed it the most. But again, this is similarly to the Nicole and Billie match. I knew that Yuta was gonna win it because he's the contracted talent to the company in itself. So that's the only thing I was like I would have liked it if Matt would have won this match instead because I feel like he earned it by the way he was working in within the match. And I think one of the things that really surprised me the most when he did that submission from the top rope. They went for the top into that submission on the mat, and I was like, "Holy crap!" The way he did that, that was so amazing to watch. But I feel like I enjoy more his performance than Wheeler Yuta's here, and that's the thing that like the downfall of the match. It felt slow at first, but I feel like once it picked up, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I would have preferred him would have won this instead. I feel like that's the only thing I didn't like particularly about the match. Um, like you said, I didn't like the Marina interviewing too much in itself. There was a part in the match that Matt had a Wheeler on a submission, and Marina had to come in here. She was like, "Nope, you're not tapping to this." And her coming in there really took me out of that, like that space that I was in watching the match, and I didn't like it that particular time when she was in, like when she was doing it, and I wish I would have done without in that part.
Yeah, Mako apparently said earlier this year he wants CM Phil at Bloodsport so that he can shoot on him for real before walking away from the sport entirely himself. I mean, that sounds like a fun idea. I don't know if CM Phil would ever do Bloodsport, and I don't know if he ever trusts enough of those guys in that to do it, but that'd be fun. After the match, Yuta beats up a fan who was bad-mouthing him, so that was unnecessary. I didn't really need that. We then get a promo from the premier athletes over the shoulder of somebody as Mark Sterling goes ahead and talks glowingly about the premier athletes. And because I don't watch Ring of Honor enough, and because we don't have a post show here anymore often enough, and I miss Auntie and Kyle talking about this on a weekly basis. Hopefully, we can get Honor Ramble back sometime soon if they can promote if they can improve the product so it's worth talking about every week. We'll get it back. I forgot that Tony Nese and Ari Daivari were in a group. I'll be honest. They were doing this like the premier athletes. I'm like, ooh, who's in this Mark Sterling group? I forgot that it was Corn Cob Ab, Tony Nese, and Ari Daivari.
I know they were introducing the girl in the group. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. Is it
Story Denali?
Story Denali. So I like the fact that they do it from her shoulder, and you don't realize it at first because she's taller than all of them. And then when they choose the camera run, it's her. I was like, I like that part of it. You're really on that end of it.
Mark Sterling is such a douche that I love it. And again, there are ways to use that word in a positive and a negative way. Like Mark Sterling is the great douche, but like Sammy Guevara is a bad douche. So if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Like Mark Sterling makes me hate him for all the right reasons. He infuriates me with the things he says. Again, much like a Cindy Bacabella. The two of them feel like I just want to see the two of them wrestle. I think that would be fantastic. No. I want to see the two of them wrestle because that would be great.
Why are you putting that into the universe? No.
Putting it out there from my lips to God's ears.
No.
Mark Sterling versus Cindy Bacabella.
Oh no.
Well, if you didn't think yuck about that before, let's go on to our next match. La Faccion Ingobernables, made up of Sammy Guevara, Dralistico, and the Beast Mortos, taking on Checks Notes, Ring of Honor Jobbers Extraordinaire, Eli Isom, Rhett Titus from the All Night Express with Kenny King, and yes, everybody's favorite jobber from Ring of Honor, Cheeseburger. I wrote my notes before even watching the match. God, this is going to be a squash.
You think?
The moment I saw Cheeseburger and Rhett Titus, I knew this wasn't going to go well. Guess what? It didn't. It went poorly. The match was a bit of a clusterfuck. The
No. That was the beginning of the match. You can't use that now.
No, that was the opening match. I understand. This was a clusterfuck in the way that the heels didn't even come out of this looking any better than they went into it in my mind, because they didn't really beat them up much. They kind of just like beat them down and like threw them around and then pinned them and won the match. And I'm like, I don't know any more of any of them coming out of the match as I did going in. And when you squash a showcase, it's supposed to promote the guys in the ring. And I don't think I learned anything about any of them. In the span of one evening on our local establishment, we had a German soldier winning wars, hard drug use, violence upon children, loose morals, and now an explanation on good and bad douche. What a night. Yeah. It was an interesting message to wake up to, with the message of, how do I explain the world that Peacemaker goes to without using the 4-letter N-word? And I'm like, how do we, like, how is that a world that we're going to have to live in? Like how is that how we started the day? And now we're sitting here having me explain a good douche and a bad douche. It's surely been a night.
Yeah, it has been. It's supposed to be weaponize the children.
Yes, weaponize the children, not violence upon children.
But the one that bothered me the most here is that Sammy just gets a participation award, because that's what it is. He's not even in the match and he just gets the pin and the end. And I just went, why? Why? I don't get it. I really don't. He's one of the few people that I also don't know what people see in him much. So, but as I found that, I was like, I'll keep the comments to myself, because I also don't like the guy. But again, not a fan of this match. It ended too quickly, and you could tell that again that we're gonna win the match because everybody else.
3 minutes 41 seconds.
It felt longer than that, though.
And it was still 2 minutes too long. We then get a Blake Christian Lee Johnson promo, which was fun. But I do want to talk about Blake Christian here, because he talks about how he's the flavor, and I forget the exact terminology he uses, because in my mind, as soon as he said flavor, I kept thinking of the month, because that's all I think of Blake Christian is he's a flavor of the month, and he'll just keep like going into the consciousness of like indie wrestling and being the greatest thing in the world. And then he goes away for like a year and a half or 2 years where he like disappears. And then he comes back and he's great again. And I'm just like, he's fine. And then he chooses to call, he's talking about how he's the flavor and he's the future and all this. And then he spells out the word vanilla. And I go, yeah.
No. You don't know the lore, do you?
I don't care about the lore. He spelled the word vanilla, and I go, yeah. Blake Christian seems pretty vanilla. Boring, pointless, none necessary.
No. Vanilla baby, come on. We've been campaigning online for Jack Harlow to let him use that Vanilla Baby theme song when he comes out. Please tell me you know the song at least. Oh no.
There's nothing good that's vanilla, just so we're clear. Nothing good that's vanilla.
No comment. I can't say anything.
Not flavoring, not sex-wise, nothing. There's nothing good vanilla. There's nothing good vanilla.
After dark. Okay, that's for a Patreon thing later.
I mean, it's 10:45 and there's no light outside my window. I'm gonna say it's pretty fucking dark. No, Vanilla Ice wasn't even good. The only good thing Vanilla Ice ever did, Bobby, was go ninja, go ninja, go, go, go ninja, go ninja, go, go. And I can tell that
Bobby.
And I can tell that Astrid's never seen Ninja Turtles the movie. If she doesn't know Go Ninja.
Long. Don't say that. My partner's watching this and he likes the Ninja Turtles, I think so.
Luis! Come on, Luis, get on it. Anyways. Oh, I hope. Bobby, you can just clip them yourself. You don't have to wait for Nexus clips. Anyways, I thought this was a vanilla promo. In like I said, vanilla is the worst of all of the flavors.
Oh
So
no.
I mean, I don't even know what the point of it was. Like,
Technically, you're vanilla too. So what are you talking about?
oh, I'm not vanilla. Trust me.
Yeah. Next chapter, please. We're not getting into this.
We have Demus El Demon, Domenico, taking on Mad Dog Connelly in a hair versus hair match.
Demonico.
Yeah, Demonico.
Okay.
So I said, didn't I? Demus del Demonico.
Making sure.
Okay. Versus Mad Dog Connelly. Mad Dog Connelly had an eye patch on because apparently the night before on the West Coast, he had something bad happen to his eye, and they wanted us to believe that a wrestling company would send a man with an eye injury into a match without having a doctor look at him. Which even for the independents seems like a bit of a stretch. Way more of a stretch when we're talking about the fact that Ring of Honor is involved in this, and they certainly would not put a talent at risk of being injured without having had a doctor look at an injury. Astrid, do you want to talk about the hair versus hair match?
I mean, it was a match, and it happened. The bell rang. Somebody had the hair shaved.
Astrid, who won the match? Do you remember who won?
Yeah.
Which one?
Demonico.
Demus Demonico. Demus El Demonico did indeed win this match. I liked some of this match. I liked some of this. I thought it was hard hitting in an interesting way. I thought the storytelling with the eye injury, while being unbelievable in a way that took me out of believing it, I thought was really interesting and good. I thought he wrestled in a way that made the eye injury seem like it might have been valid. And I like that. Like in the beginning of the match, he's swinging wildly and like missing his opponent because he can't really see that well out of just the one eye. And through the match goes on, the more he gets into it and the more he develops to the eyesight. I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's good. It wasn't the most technically sound match I've ever seen in the world. Demus then puts the dog collar on him that they used in their last match because they had a dog collar match before this somewhere else. And then he hung Mad Dog over the ropes and he passed out. I didn't know you could win a match with the guy on the outside of the ring passed out on the ring apron with a dog collar. Because was the match no holds barred? Like, it really wasn't well explained if it was like hair versus hair, but it was normal, or like...
That's something I was wondering, because I'm like, when you have a hair versus hair match, can you bring weapons in and make it like just a regular match? Is just the only thing that the winner gets to shave the other person's hair, right? There's nothing different to it.
That's what I thought.
Okay, that's what I thought too, because when he brought in the chair, at first I thought, oh, here comes a DQ, and then the DQ doesn't happen. And then they involved the collar, and then nothing happened. So I went, do they have some kind of like, if there was no DQ, I feel like they should have specified that. Because to me, the hair versus hair match is a regular match. It just, the consequences are just after the match, but not during it. So I thought that was, I don't want to say strange, but it felt weird watching it that way.
Odd. It was odd.
Yeah. And then, but the ending, though, the visual of him hanging him the way he did. But I feel like, I hope this makes sense though, but the guy was just hanging on from the collar and he passed out. 2 seconds later, he's like shaving his head like nothing happened.
Yeah. He took a small nap.
Okay.
I wish he had hung him to the floor as opposed to the apron. I think that would have been a better visual. I like the visual we got here. I don't think it was a bad decision. I thought it was pretty good. We're getting ready to go into our semi-main event. As far as the show was concerned, it was the main event because the last match doesn't really get enough time, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I was wondering that too, because when this match ends and they say, oh, we have our main event, and I kept thinking, wait, I know there's another match coming. So I was like, how is this the main event? And then I realized later what it was. So I felt so confused at first.
Yeah. But while we're here, I want to do something we normally do at the top of the show. Astrid, tell me your thoughts on Dylan Hales and Jumpin' Johnny Mosley on commentary tonight.
I feel like I enjoyed it for the most part. I can't think of instances that they made any comments that were like, oh, I didn't like what they said, kind of thing like we have with other shows that are just like that felt inappropriate to really discuss. And even like I like how they get backgrounds on people the way they did. They brought up a lot of history in those aspects of it, even for the people like from the independent scene, and give us, like you said, with Mad Dog giving us the situation about the eye thing and everything. It's like they give us really good backgrounds on that too. But I don't think anything stood out to me that was like inappropriate or something bad that I could say like, oh, that was terrible that they mentioned that.
I really like the sound of the two of them together too. I really think they really worked well off of each other. Neither really jumps on each other's toes very often. I thought Dylan Hales provided a lot of good play-by-play. I thought Johnny provides really intriguing and interesting color commentary at just the right times. It was a good commentary team. I hope to hear more from the two of them. And again, Action Wrestling is a promotion that I think we both really liked what we saw from Action Wrestling. And again, we talked about the commentary there, and Dylan Hales is their commentator. We didn't get Jumpin' Johnny Mosley in the last show with them. And I'm hoping that if we go back to them, that we get to do that, because I know they have a show, like I said, this Friday that I really want to cover on a future show if we get the opportunity, because I think that's going to be really fun. We get into a Ring of Honor Pure title rules match, which means I have to clip this portion and send it to Auntie Collins, because we all know her love affair with not only the Pure Championship, but also her love of Lee Moriarty. And he's taking on one of my favorites from the late days of Ring of Honor, Josh the Goods Woods. Like, this dude's a little wild. He's a little wacky. He's a little crazy. But I love Josh Woods. I think he's great. I do want to pick on commentary a little bit here. You need to work on your grammatical choices, commentary. So this show was recorded on the 6th of September. 4 years from that date, on the 7th of September, was 4 years to the day that Josh Woods won his first Pure Championship. So they said on here, 4 years to the day, depending on your math. And I went, good sir, what part does math have to do with a factual date? If they wanted to do this, they should have said nearly 4 years ago today, and it would have been perfectly fine. It bothered me for the first 5 minutes of this match, to the point where I had to message Astrid, knowing she hadn't seen the match yet, and I didn't even know if she knew it was happening. And I had to rant at her for 5 minutes while the match was now paused, being like, this is fucking wrong. And she's going, I don't speak English well enough to know what the fuck you're talking about. And I go, grammatically, this isn't correct.
Say that.
No, you
didn't say that.
You needed context, and then you basically were like, well, they kind of sort of meant this.
I was like, for me, more than anything, what I was saying is, I get what they were saying. I just would have said it differently. That was mostly like my thing to it, because I definitely would have been like, oh, it's more or less like 4 years since he won the title, something along those lines, or like estimating. But taking out the, like, depending how you do the math line, I would have taken that part out. But I didn't say I didn't know English. I know it's not, my native language, but I managed.
That's normally what I get when I complain about commentary for stupid shit. Astrid normally comes back to me with, "Look, English isn't my first language. Go speak to somebody else about this."
No, it's not.
Because you have said that to me before.
Before, maybe once, not all the time. I
really did.
I really probably said it once. I got a journalism major, okay?
Look, we're on basically the last match that has anything to talk about. We're 45 minutes into the show, and we're almost done. Like, I need to extend this show. So if I have to throw Ashley under a bus or two, she's getting thrown under a bus or two.
Or two. One is enough.
We'll see. Maybe there'll be another bus. Anyways, I love the storytelling that was done in this. One, I love the idea of the Pure Rules Championship. I love the way they do these matches. And it's always one of my favorite matches on any Ring of Honor pay-per-view that I get to watch. Because I love the you get 3 rope breaks thing. It makes whether or not you go to the ropes to break something more worthwhile. And it lets you tell a very interesting story. In this match, it was Josh Woods making sure that Lee Moriarty was using his rope breaks early. The first 2 rope breaks get used by Lee Moriarty before Josh he's only used 1. It's a really smart match by Josh. It's a really interesting way to tell a story from Lee Moriarty's point of view. I really enjoyed all of that. The big moment of the match comes where Josh hits his finish and he goes ahead and tries to pin him, but he doesn't pull him away from the ropes. And Lee's foot and hand are left under the ropes. They don't touch the ropes, but the referee sees it as he's counting 3 and goes ahead and waves off the 3 count and says, nope, his foot's under the rope. That means that this is his 3rd and final rope break. Josh gets kind of discombobulated from all this. He's irritated. He's angry. Not at the referee, but more at himself because he knew this was a thing he could have fixed. Yeah, Ed and Smart is very scary. It is what it is. But he goes ahead. Lee gets the big win. Lee gets to continue being the Pure Rules champion, which makes a lot of sense. We get the whole Shane Taylor Promotions coming back out. It's fun to see all these people together. Why they waited so long to put these guys all together, I don't know. I'm so glad they have. Shane Taylor is a fucking star. Give him everything, please. Because I love a lot. I'm so mad we didn't really get a final end to the Shane Taylor, Keith Lee stuff. I don't feel like. I feel like there was something else left on the table with that I really wanted to see more of. Because I think the 2 of them are just fantastic together. This match is gold. It's my match of the night by leaps and bounds. There is nothing better than a really good Lee Moriarty match. Josh Woods is fantastic. If you don't watch these guys, you need to watch these guys. Watch more Ring of Honor. Watch more of these guys. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I'll say for me, this was also match of the night, and I think Billie and Nicole will be the next one after that as well. But again, I like the dynamic here. I like how at first Josh uses the first rope break, and the announcer goes, Lee uses his rope break, and Lee goes, that wasn't me. He goes, yeah, it was Josh. That part made me laugh to begin with. He started like doing like a victory dance to it when that happened. But I like the fact that Josh puts Lee in this predicament that he ends up using those rope breaks somehow to try to get himself out of the submission in itself. I think it's just like it's so calculated, to put it like that. And I have seen Josh before, and I really enjoy the way he wrestles, and Lee as well. So every time I get to see either one of them, whether they're against each other, just in general, I love it. I'm really happy about it. But yeah, really well done. This is the match I enjoy the most in this whole card. And then, like I said, Billie and Nicole will be the next one. But they kept my attention throughout this whole match. The story was so interesting. I love how close Josh was to winning the title before the referee noticed that Lee had his foot under the ropes and counted as a rope break. And the mentality that Josh goes to after that moment happens, I feel like it was just great to watch. But yeah, I feel like that was overall really well done. I love how Josh focuses on the ankle at some points during the end of the match after he done the submission to Lee as well. But yeah, I feel like they did so great together. And then the reversal at the end that Lily does to win. Again, overall, really like the story from that one was the best one out of this whole card.
Yeah, I thought this was great. I loved everything about this. Post-match, Shane Taylor talks about how great the Shane Taylor promotions are and how unfortunate it is that Action Wrestling couldn't find all of them a match on this card. Like, how dare you have STP in the arena and not book all of them, and why only book Lee? So Shane Taylor calls out an open challenge. He calls out for any competition from the Action Pro Wrestling roster. out comes a man who's been on the Action Pro Wrestling roster before. I believe he's at least signed to a Ring of Honor contract, if he's not at least All Elite. AR Fox.
Yep.
AR Fox is one of the great indie wrestlers of my generation. I've seen him for years doing all kinds of fantastic stuff. And this is great. It's a 5-minute match. It could have been longer. Probably should have been longer. Mm-hmm. But I understand it's a call-out match, so you can get away from it needs to be a big deal. And it's great. I think Shane wrestles so fantastically as a big man. The trying to stomp AR Fox's head and AR Fox constantly moving is one of the coolest silly spots that I've seen in a long time, but it made so much sense. Shane Taylor is just so fucking good, though. He wrestles like a big man, but he makes everybody look better around him. Grabbing AR Fox at one point and swinging him side to side against the guardrail. Those old school ROH metal guardrails is just always a good time. AR Fox misses his 450. Shane Taylor gets the big win with the big knockout punch. It's a good night for STP. It's a good night for Shane Taylor. It's a good night overall because this is a fantastic way to end a card. What do you think, Astrid?
No, it was overall really fun, especially for a match that happened, like the way to put it, like out of nowhere. I also love the part when he just throws AR Fox towards the guardrail and he just manages to like really be on his feet and on his feet on it, and he jumps over again to Shane Taylor to do the cutter on the apron. Like that was such a beautiful spot to watch. And like you said at the beginning, the stomps when he misses them, I thought that was pretty funny, the visual of it. But I feel like they had chemistry, and I wanted the match to be longer than the 5 minutes it was. But again, for the 5 minutes, I feel like they did a lot, so it didn't feel like it was 5 minutes. It felt like it was longer. But I definitely would have done with it being longer than what it was. I feel like they did really great together. It's fun, entertaining overall. I just didn't like that it was too short, but again, it was pretty fun to watch overall.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed this as a finish. And of course, we got a whole bunch of fun stuff coming up. But like I said, we're talking about Action Wrestling. So action-wrestling.com, Wrestle Action 1 on Twitter. We want to go ahead and shout out their next show, which is this Friday night on IWTV. You can catch it live if you have the IWTV app. And Adrian Alanis taking on Anakin Murphy. The Action Tag Team Championships are going to be in there as top team with Teriyaki in there. We love Teriyaki on the last show. That was that popped both me and Ashton big on that one. Taking on a tag team of Better Together. We've got Cruel taking on Grayson Pierce. Darian Bankston, one of the guys that we said wanted to watch on the last show when he took on Joseph A. Game. He is not getting his championship match at this show. It'll be at the next show that they do. But he's taking on Gary J. One of Bobby Munson's, if he's still in the chat, I know he's going to like this one. Sugar Duncanson is taking on Alex Kane, which would be a fun one to watch. And of course, the IWTV Tag Team Championships will be on the line as Lycos Jim is taking on 4825, which is indeed Jaden Newman and his tag team partner, whose name escapes me at this moment. Oh no. Jaden Newman and
You said it was the pay-per-views for this weekend?
Yeah. I just can't remember who Jaden Newman's tag team partner is for the life of me right now. Jameson something or other. Oh no. I feel so bad. 4825 anyways. They're taking on Ashley's going to look it up for me. IWTV Tag Team Champions. Because you're typing, and I know that when you're typing, you're doing something like this.
Maybe.
But yes, they're taking on Lycos Jim in a main event that both me and Ashton are very excited to watch. Tim Bosby is taking on Adam Priest. And that is going to be a certified banger. Because we saw Adam Priest in the last show taking on Channing Thomas, and he was sensational. So I'm very excited about this.
Wait, is it Jameson?
Yeah. It's Jaden Newman and Jameson
Shook.
Shook. Yes, Jameson Shook. Okay. I was like, Jameson starts with an S. I'm like, it's not whiskey. It's not whiskey, but it's Jameson something. But again, that is Action Pro Wrestling. All work, no play this Friday. If you got IWTV, check it out. It's worth a shot. Yes, Beaumaye is for the people. And if you want to get more Beaumaye, I know Tiffany from Queen of the Indies did an interview with him this afternoon. So if you want to go ahead and go and check that out, because we always like to support Alex Kane and all the wonderful things he does, because he is a friend of the channel with the Video Bros, with Bobby Munson and Papa Smokes. So we always like to shout out the good things that Alex Kane's doing. Speaking of professional wrestling, Astrid, you had another one of your wrestling made me cry moments this past weekend on wrestling, didn't you?
I did. I cried Sunday night.
Yes, we have the crowning of a new TNA World Heavyweight Champion in Mike Santana. Ashton, tell me about your thoughts watching that match and seeing Mr. Santana, as the clip talked about last week from the show. Mr. Santana getting the big win.
What can I say? I was trying not to cry, but I knew I had to. Not the moment I was hoping it would happen at the anniversary, but again, I'm not gonna take away from this big moment from his career, and knowing that he bet on himself, and this is basically what he gets for betting on himself, and the visual of giving his daughter the championship and putting it on her shoulders and everything, like, oof, that hit me in the feels. And the first Puerto Rican world champion in TNA history, not to. So
yeah, coming out to the ring with Conan, that was pretty cool. That video package that they had before the show with Conan was sensational. I really enjoyed that. Bound for Glory as a whole was a really fantastic show. I was there live. I really enjoyed it. TNA did indeed treat me very well with having worked for their street team to get tickets to the show. I had a fantastic view of the show. I was right above and off to the side a little bit from the ring entrance. So where the wrestlers were coming out, I was a little bit above that. So it was a fantastic view of everything. I got to see everything going on. Yeah, I tried to get media. Our local establishment isn't quite there, but I have a feeling we're not far away from Ed getting media credentials to things with the Our Local Establishment banner. So in the near future, STG, we will make that happen. But no, doing Street Team was just as good. I did get to meet Mike Santana after the show. I got to meet a shirtless Mike Santana, which made Astrid even more jealous of the opportunity because Santana wasn't wearing a shirt. But Astrid does have a very nice 8x10 coming her way with Santana's autograph personalized to her, which something I made sure to do because, we don't know when Astrid's going to get the opportunity to meet Mike. We want her to have a memory of this wonderful night. So, yes, we are trying. So we are 801 subs, and the watch time is always rising. Yeah, you can definitely catch up on all of those missed episodes of POV if you watch them on the YouTube side as opposed to the Twitch side. You can go ahead and help us with our watch hours, so we can do that. I always treat Astrid very well when I get to meet people that she wants to meet. When I met Mortar at one point, I made sure that I got her an 8x10 of Mortar. I try to make sure that I treat Astrid well because that's how teammates work. That's how coworkers and tag team partners do it. I don't do these things for Andre. I do these things for Astrid.
and I hand deliver Andre a necklace after in Canada.
You do. That I did send one thing to Andre, and he does keep it for the Marvel Talk episodes. Right by his computer setup, which is nice.
I know, it came up on my memories. It's been a year since I've been to Canada.
You did hand deliver it for me.
It's been a year since I've been to Canada. I know, it came up on my memories. It's been a year since I've been to Canada. It's been a year since I've been to Canada.
Like I said, our local establishment day in Boston next year sounds like a good idea. Just saying.
But I've been to magical place. It's better than Boston.
No, we don't want to go to the magical place. We want to bring everybody to a chaotic wrestling show. That's what we want to do.
Perhaps.
We gotta.
See, you got to meet Santana. I got to meet Randy not too long ago. So
you did get to meet Randy. Listen, fuck Brockton. Fuck Brockton.
Yeah, so see, we made it.
I already got in trouble today saying I hate Canada because I accidentally misspelled Canada in Andre's tag on the Twitter post for the Marvel Talk episode
I was
today.
I was gonna say I noticed that, but I wasn't sure who did it, so I couldn't call it out.
Yeah, no, it was me. They messaged me and asked if I could go ahead and do it, and I spelled Canada Canda. I missed an extra A, so it didn't tag. It didn't do the actual tag. It just had the @ in the word. Because let's put it this way. The our local establishment Google Chrome doesn't like to auto tag people. So I have to like get the actual perfect like tag on the post to do it. So I really don't like doing the tags from the little violin. Listen, I do social media for our local establishment for 2 shows. And they're my shows. They're the only shows that I bother doing social media for, and I only do them on the hell site known as Twitter.
Well, trust me, you would notice.
I know. Media to the 2 people who know social media well. That'd be you, that'd be Bobby. Otherwise, I don't touch the social media.
No, I'm about on social media too.
Yeah, Ed.
Yeah.
I only half-assed disrespect. Oh, it's fun. But no, Bound for the Glory was a fantastic show. I was surprised at how over Cody Deaner is. And if you say I didn't see Cody Deaner on that show, you did.
No,
he's the hometown man.
No,
he's the hometown man.
No,
he was the hometown man. Am I wrong? Is Cody Deaner not hometown man?
It is, but you don't say it. Shh.
He came out with the Riverhawk mascot, which got a big pop from. My girlfriend popped at 2 things for the entire show: the Riverhawk mascot and Wally the Green Monster.
Yeah, so you're not supposed to say that, okay? It's like a Grande Americano kind of thing. That's why you don't do.
We call out Grande Americano as Mr. Tiffany Stratton. We don't lie. We don't fib.
I wouldn't say Mr. Tiffany Stratton anymore, just so you know. But anyway,
are they not together anymore?
Yeah, we know who it is. You're not supposed to say it out loud, though. Come on, dude.
Sure we do. It was Chad Gable first, and then it was El Grande Americano was Ludwig Kaiser, and then it's also Tyler Bate, and it's also Pete Dunne.
I know.
Those are all the El Grandes.
But you're not supposed to say it out loud. Come on.
Why? Why don't we say the truth?
Because you don't. That's it. Huh?
I don't know. I think Math Champion put something in the wrong chat. Unfortunately, this is not for us. But thank you. I would greatly appreciate being married for 4 years. That would be great. I want to get married at some point, but unfortunately, not quite yet. We'll get there.
I haven't been since I was a kid. My parents knew better than told me the truth. Oh, I found out actually, but it was a different story. We'll leave it for another day.
And since we're still trying to lengthen this episode because we need to up the watch hours here, Astrid, give us your review of The Life of a Showgirl 2 weeks out.
It's growing on me. I can tell you that. I can tell you. Okay, I think I have Life of Ophelia, #1 favorite song. I love the dance too. Listen.
Sorry, man. I apologize. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was a copy and paste of the wrong thing. I apologize. No, I apologize.
Oh, he said because your girlfriend popped for the characters for the mascots.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he means. That you got your girlfriend to pop for the mascots during Bound for Glory.
For taking her to a wrestling show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. Now I got it. It took me a moment.
Okay.
There we go.
Listen, I'm a very dumb white man. You have to spell things out for me, or else I don't get them.
Plus, we don't realize that. we do this, but you guys are on delay, so you guys are commenting on something that we already did like 2 minutes ago. Exaggeration, of course, but that's how it is. So that's what it feels like. I remember that we were talking about that just now when you said popped, and that's what reminded me of it.
Yeah, no, I apologize, the Mass Champion. Thank you for the kind words. I greatly appreciate it.
But yeah, I was gonna say, Life of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, Opalite, Wishlist.
So far, you're just naming the entire album.
No, not entirely. And then Cancelled. I like all 5 of those so far. But they're growing on me.
I like Life of Ophelia, obviously. I think that's the it's funny. I think Fate of Ophelia, I think is the only real banger single off this album. Like,
no, I think Opalite is there too.
Maybe.
I think after Ophelia, Opalite, what's it though? Opalite, I think, and Wishlist could be the other 2 for me.
I do think we have to talk about Actually Romantic. I think is a really underrated song off this album. I really enjoy Actually Romantic. I think that's a really good song. And like I said to you, I still can't figure out Cancelled. And then apparently I was figuring out. I thought Cancelled was about the wrong person, so I was really off with that one because
I can send you references so you can understand that even more.
I know. But when I first heard it, I thought it was a Blake Lively thing, and I was like, oh, it's a Blake thing. And you're like, no, it's not even remotely about Blake. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
My clue was the way she spelled it because I spell Cancelled the same way because I like it that way. But that's the British way of spelling out Cancelled.
Yeah.
I like the 2 L's.
I think the album's fine. I don't think it's one of her better albums. I don't think... and again, this is judging her off of her. It's not judging her off of... Like, it's a good album for most people. It's a fine album. But, like, Taylor Swift holds herself to a higher regard when it comes to these albums. And it's the price of being happy. Like, at the end of the day, this album is the price of being happy. That the best things that Taylor draws from are the pain and the suffering and the heartbreak. And right now, she's in the happiest time of her life. She's engaged to the man that she loves. She just came off the biggest tour in the history of the world. She made more money than God on that tour. She worked harder than any performer ever had.
Yes.
She funded multiple weddings.
But
and she probably going to need multiple weddings.
I can understand why people are saying that they didn't like it. Because when I first listened to it at midnight that night, I feel like it wasn't hitting me the same way. But I realized, because it happened to me also with the Torture Poets department, when I first did a whole listen to it, I didn't like it at first. But then seeing edits of people pulling together references of what she's talking about, most likely, because I guess she's not going to confirm it to us either. But pulling clips and putting like any kind of picture, anything that references what she's talking about, made me connect more to the music. And I like Torture Poets more now than I did when it first came out. And I feel like it's going to be like this for this one. I just don't like that people are like, oh, they're calling it mid. You're not listening to the lyrics if you think it's that way, because people are like, oh, it doesn't give me showgirl vibes. Like, she's not saying she's a showgirl. She's telling you like the backstage stuff, what happens to her when she's not the showgirl. That's what the life is of the showgirl. What when she's not on stage anymore, and what her life is really like. So I think that's why I don't like people like, oh, it doesn't give me the vibes. I'm like, it's not supposed to give you the vibes to it. It just reminded me a lot. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I don't know if you haven't seen it though. But if you haven't seen it, I would recommend you watch her Tiny Desk concert. Because at that time, people asked her, like, oh, what would you do, or how would you write when you're happy? Or like when you're not going through like all that stuff. She's like, and she gives an answer that I think is interesting. So if you haven't seen the Tiny Desk concert, I definitely recommend it because it reminds me of this album. Rhett, I do like Rhett a lot, but I feel like I like more her Torture Poets is one that I really
I mean, are we just going to sit here and not talk about Reputation as the best Taylor album? Because it really is.
That's one of my favorite ones. And the funny part, I always have about Reputation, that for me, Reputation should be Lover. Because I feel like Reputation has more love songs than Lover does.
Yeah. By the way, also, just for me,
okay.
the Taylor Swift debut album is the second best album that Taylor's ever done. That debut album is fantastic. But you
I
gotta
don't
remember,
like debut that much.
I grew up with that album. Like I was there for Country Taylor when she started. Like I was a fan of that Taylor. And like I've come and gone as the albums have gone and she's gone pop. It's changed over the years, but I was the country fan enjoying Teardrops on My Guitar, enjoying Tim McGraw, enjoying Our Song. Like, you know, those are the songs that I really enjoyed. And again, I'm not saying grown up as in like I grew up with those songs like she did. Obviously, I'm about 30 years older, 20, 30 years older than Taylor. But like
what? No.
I'm at least 15 to 20 years older than this girl.
No.
She was in high school when those albums were coming out. And I was already out of college.
She's about my age.
Is she really?
Yes. She was born 2 years before I was.
Interesting.
Yeah, look,
as a gambling man, I bet at some point Jarvis will get tired of this now. I'll get tired of her nonsense. They'll split up and have motivate. Trust me. She's. I don't think her and Travis are going to be long term. If there's anybody, it's her and Travis. But you know, I'm going to let them be happy and because I said
I think that's the one.
I said Astrid something already this week, and she was like, "Look, why are they already trying to get them divorced before they even get married?" And so I've learned that I'm going to just stay away from this topic.
Yes, agreed.
Because
smart man sometimes. No, she's 35. She's turning 36 in December.
Wait a minute. Taylor Swift is 8 years younger than me?
Yeah, she's 35. About to be 36.
When I listen to old Taylor Swift, I feel like it was forever ago. And it's like,
so,
oh my God.
Thinking about it this way, when you debut is 06.
Yeah, I know that. Trust me. I was
So I was gonna say she's not that much older than me, and that's what I like about her music. Is she's one of the few artists that I don't want to say everything, but I can relate to her music sometimes because when you go through those heartbreaks and you relate to that. But we're not that far off in age, so.
Math Champion's not wrong. If somebody can get divorced from Jessica Alba, anything can indeed happen. I can already tell Math Champion is a man of my age range. If we're talking about if we're talking about Jessica Alba as like that up there one, I'm like, all right, this is my generation and I enjoy it. Anyways, I forgot to do this last week. That's why I wanted to do it this week with talking about the Taylor Swift because we know how big of a Taylor Swift fan Astrid is. So we wanted to do this. I appreciate it, Math. I appreciate it, Math. I appreciate it. Somebody's got to have my back here. Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you.
Well, nothing else going on for this week. Yay! Or next week, technically. But no, you can find me on my Twitter and Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads, Astrid Pizarro 20. If you're here, you're most likely on my YouTube channel. If you are, you can click the like button and subscribe button too, and the bell to be notified when I upload or go live. And before I forget, because I always forget about this, if you scan the QR code, you can find the shirt that Melba and Mike are modeling here, which is my shirt on for you to wear. Or if you go to that QR code, you can shop at debbyshop.com. Same prices, it just a little bit goes back to me. Same thing here with the Hot Topic storefront. You can scan the QR code. You can find, they have the new Terrifier X Rhea Ripley collaboration on Hot Topic now. So if you want to score it, you go scan the QR code and get yours.
I still don't have a shirt because unfortunately I have unfortunately not bought one. So I don't get to model the shirt.
But now you can pretty soon.
I'm my pay raise isn't that much. I don't know if we're gonna be able to buy shirts, but we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. You can of course find me at the same places you always can at Fres12584, twitch.tv/ed2002. So we're gonna go ahead. No, I got 10. I got a decent percentage on my raise. Let's put it that way. I got more than most people do on their raise, and it's still barely anything. Let me tell you, it's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, Marvel Talk. We had Marvel Talk Goes DC earlier today. Again, if you want to catch up on all things Peacemaker, you do need to go ahead and check that out. as Andre and the Empress of our local establishment, Peggy, went ahead and talked about that. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. We're going to be coming back probably sometime in mid to early November with a special show where we're still getting things in place backstage on that show, but it's going to be a fun special show. We're not reviewing anything Marvel based, but we're going to be talking about some Marvel stuff. So we'll give you some information about that as it comes, because it's going to be a very viewer input show, as well as, you know, people from our local establishment, former guests. We got a fun thing planned for that. We're going to be doing some more Marvel rebounds, because unfortunately Wonder Man got pushed back to January. So yeah, I know, raises. It's a tough one. Wonder Man got pushed back to January, so we have no new Marvel content to talk about this year. So we're going to go back to some more MC rebounds. We're going to get to Black Panther finally. We've been putting it off, trying to find a co-host to really bring us another side of Black Panther, because I feel like it's a bad idea to have me, Andre, and Peggy talking about Black Panther. So we're working on finding to have another side to Black Panther. Although we all really enjoy the movie, we want a little bit more of a different voice in that show too. So we're looking into some guests for that, which is why the Black Panther review hasn't happened, but we will be doing it. So MC rebounds will be coming up. Also, next week, as Astrid said, she's not doing a whole lot next week because Astrid will not be here next week. Astrid will be out of the country. I have indeed found a great fill-in host for Astrid for that 1 week. I am bringing in one of the Body Slam besties. Amanda Savage is going to join me. And fingers crossed that IWTV gets it up in the next day or so. If they do, we're going to be watching Trick or Treat from Dreamwave Professional Wrestling. So I'm very excited for this show. Yes, no Hollywood Astrid next week.
Don't get used to it.
We'll see. We'll see. No. But no, we have. Trust me, I know you don't come here for me, STG. Trust me, I'm aware. But yes, Amanda Savage from the Body Slam Besties is going to be joining me. We're going to be hopefully talking about Dreamwave Pro Wrestling. If not, we're going to be doing a chaotic show, because that's my always good go-to for shows that we can do on the last minute. But the reason why I want to do the Dreamwave show is because Channing Thomas versus Connor Haskins again, coming off the show that we watched last time from them. Also, Hart and Barrow is taking on Dijak in a Buried Alive match. So that's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Becca is having a gauntlet match for an opportunity at the title of your gender. So whoever wins the Battle Royal will either get into the men's Dreamwave or the women's Uprising Championship match. I'm sorry, the women's Dreamwave Championship match. So I'm very excited for this show. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff on it. Gabby Forz is there. There's a whole bunch of fun people on that show. And it just so happens to work out that Astrid won't be here, so I get to talk about it with somebody else. And then, of course, me and Astrid will be back with a special guest on the show for the 28th, if I remember correctly. If I know my dates correctly, it'll be the 28th. We're going to have a special guest on that show. We haven't quite narrowed down a show. I sent one to Astrid, and I'm hoping she's going to look into. I think that could be a fun one. But yeah, make sure that if you're watching this show, in the comments, let us know if there's a promotion you want us to talk about, so we can go ahead and research them and see if that's something we can do. Go ahead and leave a like on the video. Follow our local special at all the wonderful places that are right here. Of course, you can just look at the place right below us, the picture, where we have our social media stuff right there throughout the whole show. And again, remember, this is an Action Pro Wrestling show, so we got the action stuff right up here. Action-wrestling.com, Wrestle Action 1 on Twitter. Please give them some support. They are a great wrestling company. They support us. They follow us on our local establishment. When we talk about their stuff, they retweet it. We really like that. We hope that they do fantastic shows. And again, remember, their show is on this Friday. Of course, we got our local establishment content coming out the rest of the week, including this Thursday. We got the return of trivia. We are doing, I believe it's PPW trivia, if I remember correctly, on Ring Respect Radio this week. We've got Point of View coming this weekend on Sunday, talking all kinds of football stuff, talking about how poorly STG is doing in the our local establishment fantasy league. Not that I'm doing much better, but you know, I'm still ahead of STG, so things are good. Listen. I'm getting a listen, Linda, from him.
Listen, Linda.
You can get rid. You know, you say that, but you've wrecked very few people in there. You know, I ran a half marathon. Get on my level. Thank you, STG. I always love the banter we have back and forth. For myself, for the natural Astrid Bizarro. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
I am in misery.